The fact is, as a beginner, you're fighting against the waves. As you get good, you learn to surf them. You can't control the waves. Sometimes it's choppy, sometimes they're smooth. But as you get really good and you learn to balance and you learn to know when to get on and get off, you can ride them. Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. 99% of traders will never make consistent profits. So why listen to the 99% of advice? On this show, we're going to challenge some of the most hallowed and repeated tenets of trading, and in doing so, set you up to succeed where others fail. Spoiler alert, we don't have a secret strategy or magic wand that will let you skip out on the hard work of learning the markets, but we can debunk viewpoints that are holding you back. If that sounds good to you, come join us. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anarchy Day Trading Podcast. Hope you all are doing awesome. We receive emails and DMs from you guys all the time. We really appreciate it. And we got a question the other day. I was emailing Clayt, what's up? And he'd sent in a question about reverse. He'd been playing around with reverse copy trading, essentially using the idea, Jordan, that a beginner's natural state is to lose. And so could you just, continue trading normally if you're a losing trader, set up a sim account that just reverses your trades and bing, bang, boom, you're profitable. Is that possible? He'd tried it. He hadn't had success. And so he'd reached out and asked about it. And so I thought we could talk about that today. Just talk about in general, first of all, why do beginning traders lose? Why aren't they break even? You'd think that would maybe be the case. Why do beginning traders lose? And can losing traders use that to their advantage by just reversing their trades? Is that something that's possible? And maybe use that to give some insight to our listeners. Jordan, I'll throw it to you. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Had a great weekend. Actually spent the weekend driving around the Denver slash Colorado Springs area picking up skis for the kids. I mean, we're living in Colorado, so if we're not skiing, I think we're doing something wrong. So got everyone outfitted with all the kids at least outfitted with skis and everything. So they're all very excited to hit the slopes. So we were thinking of going tomorrow, but it's supposed to be like minus 20 degrees in the mountains. So we figured maybe we'll wait until next week when it's supposed to be back above zero at least. So yeah, so
Awesome.
it's been quite a fun weekend, and now just looking forward to the new week. Of course, no trading tomorrow because we've got bull. I would say because Trump's getting inaugurated, but I think it's actually because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And got to watch the Bills beat the Ravens tonight, which, if I can't have the Giants win because they've sucked for so long, I mean, Bills are I guess second best, right? So
That's
so I'm,
right.
I'm voting for Bills to kick Kansas City's butt next week.
That's the hope. We can only dream.
It's the hope and the dream. But yeah, I mean, back to what you're saying regarding regarding reverse trading. How does it work? Why does it work? I mean, let's be honest. First of all, reverse trading does work if you think about it in terms of brokers. For instance, brokers that are unregulated, like are notoriously like so let's say like overseas brokerages are notorious for actually taking the opposite side of trades of new traders because they know the stats show that that they're going to make money doing that. Now it's unethical, not allowed by the regulated brokerages in the USA. And it can get brokers into trouble, obviously, if you're always especially depending on who your traders are. But the fact is, a lot of brokerages used to do that, and they've made money on it, doing it successfully. But the problem is, if you are reverse trading against yourself, guess what? Now you don't even know what you're doing because let's be honest, you can't trick your brain. If you know you're reverse trading, guess what? You're not reverse trading anymore, are you?
No, you're not. You're just trying to, if you're trying to lose, it changes your psychology. It changes it all, and now you'll be bad at that. You'll be bad at trying to lose. We've given that exercise to people before, and if any of you guys are curious, you can give this a shot. You have to use a live account, so don't trade a lot of money because if you paper trade, it doesn't work. But go on your live account, risk very small amounts, and try to lose. The funny thing is, you'll have about the same winning percentage as you do when you're trying to win. Because when you're trying to do something, it just switches it around. Like
Yeah, it doesn't actually change anything.
no. No. So it's funny because you're right. The brokers can do it on the back end because the beginning losing traders are trying to win. Therefore, they are worse. But you can't do it on your end because if you're trying to lose, all of a sudden, you can't trick you. Yeah, you're right. You can't trick your own brain, and so you switch it around. Could you give so this is an interesting question. We've talked about this before, but especially for a lot of our newer listeners, why it's honestly it's kind of mind-blowing to me that beginning traders even lose. Like not counting commissions, you would think beginning traders with no skill
Would be
would break
50-50.
even. Yeah, because if you put a monkey in front of a keyboard, they also go 50-50, right? Like if you just randomly take buys and sells randomly, the noise of the market you'll break even, besides commissions, of course. Losing traders don't. Like beginning traders lose, straight up lose. Why is that? And then we can go on to, we can go on from there.
Well, it's essentially the negative edge, right? So I mean the reason I like honestly it's a phenomenon. Honestly, I don't think maybe you know, but like for me it's a trick question. Why do new traders lose? Well, they lose because for some reason the brain is very smart at again tricking yourself and it will you give yourself a reverse edge. It says so essentially going the opposite direction.
Yeah, and so the way I look at this, and I don't know that this is 100% correct, but this is my own humble opinion. Not very humble because I'm not a humble person, but this is my own opinion. But I've caught flack from people online who I've gotten a little bit of spats for because people will go online and they'll say something that sounds real smart, like the stock market is fueled by fear and greed. And to me, that's so smooth brain stupid. And it's obviously not to me, and I can prove it from day trading. Beginning retail traders lose money. And they lose money because the majority of the market is not retail traders, right? It's 90% institutions and hedge funds, right? And so the market as a whole is run professionally by people who are not fearful. They're not greedy. The hedge funds, these, the quants, the market makers, they are very, very professional and they are not run by fear and
Exactly what
greed.
they do.
Yeah, and so the retail trader comes in and they are ruled by fear and greed. That is definitely true. You and I start trading and our heart rate gets up, you know. We start trading greedy. We start chasing things. We start doubling up on our losses. We start cutting our winners short, right? All the stupid stuff noobs do, right? And you start losing and you wonder why. Well, it's because the market as a whole is run very professionally, not by fear and greed. And then you come in and you are fearful, you are greedy. And so, of course, you're going exactly against your natural inclination is literally the opposite of what the market does. And so, one of the major challenges in getting an edge as a beginner is to dull that fear and greed to the point where you can actually trade successfully and trade with the market rather than naturally against it.
And for beginners especially, like they assume that the market is going against them, right? And the fact is the market is not going against them. And we've talked about this before, but it's kind of like as you mentioned, like the hedge funds, they're not saying, "Oh man, I'm about to get, my stop is about to get swept." And like they know that the market is not like they're not fighting the market. Like it's not a fight against the
Mhm.
market. It is working just with the market and I think that's kind of something that we need to bear in mind as kind of retail.
Yeah, well, so I'm going to be I'm actually traveling out to Hawaii for the next few months. My wife is a travel nurse and she got a her next job in Hawaii. And so we're going to be going out there and this what you just said kind of reminded me of we're going to be doing a lot of surfing out there. And we like surfing, but we don't do a ton of it. In Hawaii, we're going to get a big chance to do that a lot. It reminded me of surfing a little bit, right? Like the fact is, as a beginner, you're going to be you're fighting against the waves. As you get good, you learn to surf them, right? You can't control the waves. Sometimes it's choppy, sometimes they're smooth. But as you get really good and you learn to balance and you learn to know when to get on and get off, you can ride them, and you can't control it, but you can ride it. And so that is kind of the goal of any beginning trader, to get to the point where you're not fighting the waves. You're riding with them. And so I would encourage Clayt, I would encourage everybody who's struggling with, hey, I'm a losing trader. Could I just switch around? That's not possible for all the reasons we just described. But the main thing is to really focus on getting that. You will get there. I promise you. If you spend enough time, you focus on riding those waves rather than fighting them. Eventually, you will have that aha moment where you don't have to try to trick your brain. You don't have to try to do anything weird. You want to get to that point where you learn to ride those waves successfully and make the market work for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I would just add that, like, again, tricking your brain, like, if tricking your brain, if that's your plan, you're essentially telling someone that you plan on losing forever. But then what happens if you then you start winning, right? Like, you can't, it doesn't leave you anywhere to go because you can't get better at losing,
Yeah.
kind of. You know what I mean? So yeah, totally agreed. Like, it doesn't leave you anywhere for growing or becoming better because you're saying, yeah, I'm never going to improve. But the fact is, you actually kind of are, whether you want to or not, because your brain does get better. So how does that go about it? Well,
Yeah, I love that. It's a great point to end on. You want to go somewhere. You want to have somewhere you're going rather than. And if you start trying to lose to get money, eventually, as you get better, you'll actually get worse, and so you're actually going to be fighting progress. So that's not something you want to be doing. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you have an awesome trading week. I know we will. So feel free to reach out to us. We love your questions. We love your insights. Follow us, like us, share this podcast with your friends. It really helps us out a lot. And have an awesome week.